insecurities around body image and what a soft feminine woman is supposed to look like, which is from my culture, that Coca-Cola bottle, you're supposed to look like this.
Yeah, like shapely.
Yeah, right?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Shapely TV. I'm your host, Iya. You can find me across all platforms at Shapely Events. And this month's issue is Get Into Wellness, right? So when we think of wellness, normally we think of like this super fit body or whatever the case may be that society, I think, has painted the picture of over time. But I'm here with Axum, and we're going to discuss some major things and how the narrative of what wellness actually is changing. So, Axum, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Axum Browne. I'm a psychotherapist, and my contribution to the topic of wellness has to do with, the work that I do in the psychotherapy space, as well as like my own personal journey in terms of, acquiring my own level of wellness. And that includes mental, emotional, and physical. And, I'll talk a little bit about, my history as being, a collegiate track and field athlete and having like this idea of fitness and a strong physique, and then transitioning into where I am now, which is like desiring more of a softer, more of a inclusive idea of fitness. So, we'll definitely talk more about it.
I would just like to let the users know that this conversation actually started because we were at a barbecue celebrating Juneteenth. Hey, people. And we embarked on this conversation about body and insecurities and things like that. And then Axum, you started to disclose some things that it blew my mind. And this is why I think, conversation, even amongst people that you don't even know, people that you haven't seen in months, people that you talk to every day, sometimes a different level of conversation is so important because it can yield so many different things, right?
Yes,
definitely. And I like the point that you pointed out that you were an athlete, because I was gonna say, girl, you ain't gonna tell nobody you used to cut up on the track. And speaking of track, that's like a big topic nowadays, especially with the Shakari incident or whatever the case may be. But I digress.
in the spirit of wellness, right? Yeah.
So in this month's issue, we had people think wellness is just like a physical thing. Mm-hmm. And to me, you can let me know if you agree, because you're the one with all the papers with the letters after it, right? So I think wellness can encompass so many things, and it also looks like so many things. I think it's a physical form. I think it's relationships you have with other people, relationships you have with things like your cell phone and things like that. What would you say wellness is?
I think wellness, I usually take like a holistic approach to wellness, and it's, incorporates your physical body, which is your health, your mental status, your mental state, your emotional well-being, and that, to me, that means how are you feeling on a daily basis? When you're interacting with people, how do you feel? Are you giving too much, giving too little? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling happy? So emotions, and we're humans. We have a complex array of emotions. However, I think on a daily basis, it should be like more stable and balanced. There's going to be some sadness, there's going to be some happiness, but the extremes is really where the imbalance comes in. And so I mentioned mental, emotional, physical. And I think that's really, that really encompasses wellness for me.
Great. And I think when it comes to wellness also, I think for me, wellness, for some reason, the physical being, as a like how I look, how I feel, mm-hmm. It always ties into, well, how I look is physical, how I feel will be mental and emotional, correct? It always ties into that. And for a while, like you felt lesser than, or a person of size would feel lesser than. And that's why I always say, like, and I always preach, representation matters, because, you know, once you start seeing what looks like you know what I'm saying? You'll start to feel, to me, less iced out per se. And I say this because it took me like 26 years to wear shorts, right? So I
Mhm.
remember in like the 6th or 7th grade, I wore some shorts and somebody made fun of my thighs because they have a lot of cellulite, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't wear shorts again until I was about 34 years old.
Wow.
And I was at a plus size event, and the
Mhm.
thing was like everybody looked like me. So it kind of gave me the courage to do so. And like now you can't pry me out of a pair of shorts. It's hot girl summer.
That's
Oh,
right.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so what does representation mean to you? You have a few intersectionalities. You're a
Mhm.
mom, you're Black, you're a female, and like what does representation mean to you?
You know, for me, I think when it kind of incorporates all of my identities, and again, I don't expect every space I'm in to address all my intersectionality, but at least, I'm a woman of color. I am a mom. I'm a professional. I'm a spouse. I'm a sister. I'm a mom. I mean, I'm a daughter. I'm all these things. And so I think whenever I read content, whenever I am in, you know, event spaces, I like for them to reach me on at least a portion of my identities, especially the woman of color living in America identity, which seems to be, I think, the most challenging, to navigate. So in terms of representation, even when you mentioned going to the events that you went to and seeing women that look like you, what's interesting is I don't think people would even think that I would feel similarly in
Mhm,
that, throughout my entire life, I started running track when I was 11 years old.
mhm.
To run track in high school. I was a scholarship athlete. I ran collegiate track and field. And my physique, and again, I was raised in Caribbean culture. My family's from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
And so the culture and the standard of beauty is as the songs often say, Coca-Cola bottle shape or buckle
Mhm.
shape, and that is what I ingrained in my mind as our beauty standard. So if I didn't have curvature, if I wasn't well endowed, if I didn't have the bodaciousness, the what do they call it? The 30, 24, 36, 30.
Oh, girl, I don't even know that
What
measurement.
those measurements are. In my mind, I thought that's what I should look like. And as an athlete, and when I started athletics when I was really young, my body shape kind of formed to that. So I was very muscular, and that's also genetics as well. We're just muscular folks. And I was very muscular. I didn't have a lot of curvature, and thankfully I had a little booty. But
Like,
so I was a little self-conscious about wearing fitted, like that little black dress. I was a little self-conscious about it because I knew that I didn't fill it out the way like my family members would fill it out. And I would often look to them as like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to look like. This is what I look like. And so for many years, I felt a little self-conscious about how I'm presented because, like I said, I have a more of a muscular tone. So I didn't want to be judged for that. So I would be like, and again, I grew up in the 90s. I'm dating myself, but I grew up in the 90s where baggy jeans was the style. And so thankfully that was the case. So I could like shield my muscular physique.
right.
Um,
Had the
at the
Aaliyah
time,
pants on, the Aaliyah
yeah,
pants.
I'm telling you, thank you, Aaliyah, for that tomboy flow. I embraced it and I rocked it for many years.
Right.
And then when I got to college, that's when I started to cut what I call femme it up a little bit. And I
Okay.
started to be a little more feminine. I felt a little more comfortable in my skin because, again, representation. I was surrounded by athletic women, and my
Right, right,
teammates are the women who I hung out with the most. So I would see them step out of their little black dresses or white dresses or whatever, and I would say, "Wow, so they're comfortable in their skin. I guess this is okay for me as well." So
right.
that's when I started to feel a little more comfortable. Then I became a professional. And now I'm in professional spaces. And I'm now, and again, pardon the profanity, I was dubbed the skinny bitch. And I'm like, come on, can I win? Like, can I
In a
win?
professional space, I'm going to
Girl,
HR. I'm going to HR.
I should have took it to HR, but I didn't. So I'm like, okay, so I feel, I'm muscular. I have a muscular tone. And again, like I had children, like when I was in my 20s and I snapped back, you know what snapback means, meaning you
Okay, tight and right.
tight and right. So I snapped back really quickly because again, I have the genetics, I have the muscle memory from athletics, from years of athletics,
Right.
but still not feeling quite 100% comfortable because there was always something to be said about the tone of my calves, because I have very large calves, the tone of my body. Some people would appreciate it. Some would say, wow, you're really muscular. And I couldn't tell if that was a compliment or, you know, or not. So, you know, I had my own insecurities around body image and what a soft feminine woman is supposed to look like, which is from my culture, that Coca-Cola bottle, you're supposed to look like this.
Yeah, like shapely.
Yeah, right.
And actually, shapely is named after that because I grew up in a West Indian culture too, and that's how they referred to people of size. So
yes, exactly. So, so fast forward to now, I had my third child at 40, and my whole perspective changed. Like even in the past, although I had the athletic build and I grew to really enjoy and appreciate my athletic physique. But I felt like this pressure to snap back. I felt like this pressure to maintain it over time. Even though I wasn't actively competing, I was like, I need to look like an athlete. I know athletes in the world can relate to this. I know they can. Like this pressure to be who you were in your heyday. And it's like, it's ridiculous. And so after I got pregnant at 40, had my infant son, who he's now a year old, I don't know what happened. Well, I won't say I don't know. I think it's a combination of me actually turning that milestone birthday, turning 40, and my world changing with having a baby at 40. And meanwhile, my other two are much older. And just looking at life differently. So let me not say I don't know. It's just that it was so much happening around that time. And this body positivity just sprouted out of just, it was birthed out of this whole experience.
Thank you for it. Yes.
Tell you, I gained 40 pounds with this pregnancy, 40 pounds, and I've only shaved off 20. But when I tell you, when I stepped out the door, the other day I went out, I had this like fitted red loose, it wasn't loose, it's a fitted red dress. Okay. But it's like an actual kind of cotton dress.
You had Jessica Rabbit on? Or did just
I guess. No bra, no shaper, like nothing to pull anything in.
Okay.
No shaper, and I had on sneakers and I felt beautiful. I didn't feel the need to, you know, suck anything in. I was just like, as we call it in our culture, otan bud. I was just like, it was just up there. And I was like, Axum, this is where you're supposed to be. This is the beginning of your freedom.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
And granted, my desire for wellness is very important. And I got back into the gym. I go to LA Fitness and I work.
LA Fitness member here too. We got to team up sometime. But go ahead.
Word. And so my trainer, so here's interesting. My trainer, he knows that I have athletic background. So he approaches my workouts from like that perspective. And like, and I wanted to feel the nervousness I felt like when we used to do those hard workouts, those repeat 400s. Okay. And like, so he's bringing that element back into my world, like this hardcore athletic mindset, which I think is important and it serves me because it's aggressive, it's assertive, it's everything that I want to encompass as I'm, embarking on my career as a therapist and eventually launching my practice. So I want to have that, so I appreciate what he's bringing to the table, but let me tell you, I don't wear the waist trainer in the gym. I let it all hang out and I'm in there just, banging out my waist and doing it like everyone else without caring about what I'm looking in the gym. I mean, I don't knock anyone who has the waist trainer. I think they're effective. I actually purchased one. But for the purpose of my mental wellness and how I feel about myself, my body image, I need to not, and this is exclusive for me. This is how I feel, my subjective experience. Okay. I prefer not to do any additives. Like I don't want to use any apparatus to help me appear a certain way. I want to be authentically myself. I want to present whatever it is that's my body's dictating at the moment, and I'm embracing it all. And part of my wellness journey is it's rooted in acceptance. It's accepting who I am, where I am, what I look like, what I weigh, what I eat, everything. I want to accept it so I can enjoy my life. Because I feel like enjoyment comes with acceptance and living moment to moment without judgment. And I feel we judge ourselves moment by moment of the day.
Oh,
I think we're our worst critics. And I know I can judge myself pretty harsh and I hold myself to a high regard. So in this season of my life, I'm so focused on no judgment zone. I'm just embracing all of me, every aspect of me. And it feels wonderful. I think this is the healthiest I've been in my adult life.
right. Right. And let's talk about stereotypes too, because some people will be like, how is this the healthiest when it was a net 20 pounds? And people forget to look at the entire package. Like it's not just about the number of this on the scale. Look at the confidence you've gained. Look at the self-acceptance you've gained. And I thought it was really important to have you on the show because people of size can be pretty judgmental and stereotypical as well, because I was floored when you shared your story, because I would have never thought. I would have never thought. And that just goes to show you that you don't know somebody's story. You don't know someone's journey. And before you impart a level of judgment upon somebody, like have that conversation. And to me, we always think like, we're the target, blah, blah, blah. And we forget that sometimes it might be our sister next to us who feels the same way, although they're in a different body. Or maybe it might be on the opposite end of the scale. But the feelings are same, but applied differently, if that makes any sense.
To your point, I just want to share something really significant to build on the point you're making. Mm-hmm. So when, my BBW sisters, when you're in certain spaces and you feel this need to look like the thin model, what's interesting is I experienced a little bit of that with the colleague in that professional space, because I was like shamed for my physique. And, again, like I was at that table of professionals having lunch, I was the thinnest one at the table. And I was dubbed the skinny bitch. And then I was also ridiculed for the things that I was eating, because I eat what I want, and even back then I was always active. I was always working out in some capacity. So I was like shamed for being able to make food choices that were of my liking. I'm shamed for that. And so when I gained my 40 pounds, and even like at the physique I'm at now, my life is a little different. Like I have like some love handles hanging over my bra strap. I got some belly. If I jump up and down, it jiggles. I'm like, look at my jiggles. And I'm like happy about it. I can't explain the phenomenon, but I'm like, I got rolls too. See, like, and I just never thought that I would, feel this way. And then I was able to connect back to that experience. Like, see, I'm not the skinny bitch anymore. I got rolls too. What, So it's, and I made the point to say, when you're shamed about anything, like it remains. And then when you're having experiences through life and it triggers you, we're not always self-aware enough to know and make the connection. But I'm thankful that I was able to make the connection. Like, wow, I was legit shamed for being like fit, which is crazy.
And I know I have some apologies to give out, because I've done that before, and I know, I don't want to say I think I know, because at this age and this point in my life, I'm very self-aware. I know that it came from a place of my own insecurity and my own jealousy, because it's like, if I have a hamburger, like you're gonna see it immediately, like in my big toe or something. But this person can eat like all they want, and it's not a problem. Also, not realizing that that person was way more active than me as well. So I've done that too, and I know the place that it comes from, at least for me. So it can only lead me to believe that it came from a similar place in those people, because whose dream isn't to eat what they want and like not have it affect anything, so
life is a little different now. I actually have to be mindful of what I take in.
Right.
I have like this, I'm gonna put it out there in the world. Okay, quarter pounders. I don't know what it is about this quarter pounder, but stop eating quarter pounders.
Okay.
It tastes so good. But anyway,
my pleasure is like ice cream. Like I can eat ice cream every day. Oh my God, I love ice cream. But yeah,
stay away
So
from the golden arches. But I all that to say, like now, because I'm getting older, you know, I have to be mindful. But the skinny bitch comment I think hurt me the most is because she didn't understand my journey. Although I have good genetics, I worked my whole A off since I was 11 years old to get to competitive track and competitive shape to compete in on a certain level in track and field. Like
right.
I don't think anyone understands how grueling it is, to the point where my trainer steps on the scene, I'm like, it brings back the fear of passing out on the track. Like we worked so hard, and those workouts pushed us beyond our physical limits so much, so that it brought us to the point that we could compete, you know, on a high level. But it was hard. So for her to say that, kind of like it didn't diminish. That's not the right word to say, but it invalidated.
Yeah.
It invalidated the years I put in.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't know what I did to get here, though.
Right. Like it's not like you just woke up and was like, poop, you know.
I didn't wake up like that. No, I worked my A off for it. So you know, so just and I'm sharing my story just so we can all be mindful of not judging one another, not judging ourselves, and not judging each other, because we don't know the journey. We don't know the intricacies of the journey. So
and words are very important. Words are extremely important. They can build you up, they can tear you down. Words have started and ended wars, okay? So please be mindful and choose them well.
Mindful. And you know, when you see someone, the approach should be support. And if you're curious about how the person got to a certain level, inquire.
Yeah.
Questions. And be kind to one another, ourselves, and be kind to our sisters as well. And brothers and sisters. So yeah, that's my message for the people.
I want to touch on one thing real quick, because you know I'm starting to see more of it, and you know you're a mom. What some might say, which as a woman who doesn't have any kids, I'm gonna probably be like just like you. The acceptance of motherhood in sports, right? And I saw these two athletes, I forgot their names, sorry. I'll drop them below here, but they're bringing their kids with them, and they're introducing their children, and they're competing like never before. And these are two track stars. If you know their names, feel free to jump in.
Allison Felix, and I follow her. She's awesome.
Okay. Yes. And
bodies. Yeah.
Serena with her little one. So I know you're not in the competitive realm anymore. But how does that make you feel as a former athlete?
So what's interesting, I'm so glad, you know, you're just bringing up so much great stuff that I've actually have experience in. So when I was still in college, I was still competing. I became pregnant with my eldest son. He's 20 now. He's also an athlete. And I became pregnant with my eldest son, and I was a scholarship athlete. And so I was nervous, just like I can imagine Allison was nervous, because she concealed her pregnancy for like 6 months. So to not alert her sponsor, so it's grueling, but I'm so grateful that at that time, my track coach, he's a wonderful guy. I think he recently retired. He sat me down and was like, we're going to support you. We made a commitment to you. Despite this circumstance of your life, we're going to honor your scholarship. And I came back the following year, big, better than ever.
Let me tell you why this, is it a man or a woman?
A man.
Pioneer, because I don't want to say back then, not like you're ancient, but I mean, that wasn't even the thing to do. I'm shocked. Like that wasn't even the thing to do then.
Yeah. Yes. Big up St. John's University. Coach Jim Hurt. Yeah. Awesome. So
kudos to you.
He just honored the contract. He was kind and generous to my family. And, you know, we were young parents, young married couple trying to figure things out. And I finished school, and it's a quick funny story. I was pregnant in my last semester of my undergraduate degree, and I was nursing my eldest son at the time, and I had a presentation, and I was nursing, so like my milk started to kind of leak out of my shirt. And I'm like doing the presentation, and they're like like trying to motion to me, and I look down and I'm like, oh, okay. Welcome to motherhood and professional. But this is quick, funny story. But the thing is, I think our bodies, our bodies go through a transition. Like after we have children, for some reason, the hormones, the burst of stuff, the chemicals, I actually had the best competitive season after having my son. It's crazy, but yeah, it happens. So people need to honor women and
Yes.
not discount them because they're bringing children into the world. Actually, we come back better than ever.
Women are magical.
Right. So
And
that was actually my
Cardi B, she's performing full belly now. Who does that?
The way that women are approaching pregnancy now is just changing the game. Like you don't have to be bedridden. You don't have to sit around and do nothing. You can be active. You can exercise with moderation. In moderation, you can exercise. Please consult with your doctor.
Yeah.
Live your active life. Pregnancy doesn't mean that you just become sedentary. You can get up and do things.
Right.
So I love like how pregnancy is being represented now in media and in you know celebrities and just in our communities. Like we can still move and shake when we're carrying, and then we got to take the necessary time to rest though. And I think that is the part that needs some serious reform.
Right.
After we have the babies, there's like not enough time given for women to recuperate because postpartum is a thing and it plagues so many women. And so we need at least 3 to 6 months to recuperate and to, you know, bond with the baby. But anyway.
Especially compared to, you know, we're especially compared to other countries. Like in some other countries, even the dad gets time off when
right.
We got some ways to go, people. But okay. So
and I'm grateful for their provisions, but I think we can do a lot better for women. So I mean, but we need to continue to advocate for one another and build communities around each other. Like when your friend is pregnant, and I'll say this, like I'm actually next week going to spend 2 weeks with one of my besties. She just had a baby girl, and I'm going to spend 2 weeks helping. So we need to do this for each other more often. Step in, build a community, help each other.
The village.
But anyway, yes, we need a village. We need a village. We need a village.
Thank you so much for being transparent and sharing your story. We would love to have you on again. You know, Shapely as a brand itself, we deep dive into so many different aspects of wellness, whether it comes to dating, your relationships. One of our articles are, you know, do you have a toxic relationship with your phone? Because these things, they can drive you insane. And so many other things. And you know, you got your letters together, degreed up and blessed. Okay. So we definitely be tapping into you for future projects, and you know, leave the audience with your tidbits and we'll close it out.
Thank you for having me, everyone. And again, my name is Axum Browne. I'm a psychotherapist. I will definitely shoot my information if you know when that time comes. I hope that you all stay blessed, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another.
Yes.
Maintain this sense of non-judgment. Let's just love one another.
I was about to say, converse more, talk more.
Yes, have a conversation. You know what? Before you judge, ask some questions. Ask some questions. Put the question and engage one another. I think that's how we're going to make our community better. Let's talk. Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching. Again, Iya across all platforms at Shapely Events, and have a good one.
Bye, everybody.